Oxton with JP is an unbelievable combination because, I mean, John is, very organized. It's got to be my way or you don't play. And all of a sudden, JP comes along. And JP's playing defense with his butt to the top of the key. And he's kind of...
We thought that was a new style.
Yeah. Right. And taking shots that any other player in Oxton's career would be on the bench, and John would not even know what to say. He'd be so mad. And then, but here's this guy dominating games, and it was fun to watch Oxton realize what he had in JP and let him loose and let him be JP. I mean, he sticks a ball in the guy's gut. I mean, another player does that in other years. That guy might not play like the rest of the year, maybe. But again, John knew kind of, hey, that's kind of his fiery personality, and this guy. So it was fun for me to watch my mentor Oxton, who's just hard nosed and never lets anybody do anything wrong, and all of a sudden you got this guy who's a dominant player who just a little bit on edge,
That's a good
credit to you. Recognizing.
I love JP. I love watching him play.
I love watching him. Every time they were on, I'd get him on. Xavier's on. I'd watch him.
My son loves watching him.
I'd text him watching it. Text Ox watching it.
Flom Irvin was awesome. I mean, I remember how tough he was. Mm-hmm. You couldn't stop him. But you named some other kids. I mean, I remember Taylor Grant was not like a basketball player, but how tough he was. You guys had just tough kids.
Yeah, we were kind of talking about when we had the stretch of, obviously, Eden Prairie is football, and we have, people don't know this, up until about 4 years ago, every year at least 4 of our starters played football.
Sure.
And 4 years ago, for whatever reason, that started to change, and we've got now basketball guys, and so we've always had super tough competitive, and we have not had a lot of scholarship basketball players, but frankly, it's because they are all scholarship football players that play basketball, and that's, so we've got a lot of tough kids, and I guess I'm sure we all do that. Get the question, who's your best, starting 5 ever, and that sort of thing.
Right.
Another great player for us for sure, now, is Grant Schaefer. I mean, we mentioned him before, but Grant's a winner, and, we'd want him to have the ball at the end of the games. But just a lot of tough, it's a long list, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
I like what the Gophers did where they had, were you even on that list, Lynch? You should have been. You were on that, weren't you?
I'm sure I was.
Yeah.
I'm on it.
We got the vote.
Yeah, exactly.
We got
I am
the vote
now.
online for the best Gophers of all time.
Put some votes in for me.
Yeah.
Come on,
That's
man.
already done.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah. People took Sam Jacobson wasn't on the list, so Ryan James is mad because that's his cousin, But Osseo did that with their players, and they went through and they put just secretly, who are their best 5 and their next 5 and their next 5.
I want to see this. Osseo did this.
Yeah.
Huh?
Well, the guy, he told me that they did that once, and he goes, you should do that for Armstrong. And I started kind of doing that in my brain, and you don't want to put that public because that would offend some people, but you start realizing how many great players you had, man.
I know. You leave somebody off.
It's fun to do. Jefferson, you guys would be unbelievable. Like, who's your top 5 ever to play at Jefferson, then the next 5 and the next 5? It'd be hard.
Yeah.
You make
be
the
tough.
first 5, Lynch, I think.
Yes. All right, so Dave brought up the word toughness. I got a good question for you guys. Can you teach toughness? And if you can, how do you do it as a coach? Can you teach toughness?
I think there's absolutely no question you can. Absolutely no question. And I think it all comes down to the consistency of that is how we're going to do it all the time and have, like the great equalizer is sitting on the bench. You know what I mean? Like you're going to do it this way. You're going to do what we ask you to do. If not, you're not going to play. And I'm not going to yell at you or anything like that. That's just the way it is. Like there's a ball on the floor. We dive for it. We get it. That's not 50-50 ball. That's our ball, And if you don't have that mentality, then you're going to have to figure that out, And so to me, I think for sure you can teach it, but you got to be very consistent, and you got to be kind of a intolerable kind of, I guess, intolerance of you're going to do it this way, and I think kids respond to that are competitive anyway,
I think you said it before, it's your high expectation, it's the culture. I think all those things are part of that toughness. And I remember specifically, as after we lost to Jefferson in the section final, I'm like, what areas as a coach do you need to get better at? And to me it was, how can we get kids mentally tougher? And went to a few different things, and I'll never forget the person that was giving the speech was, it's the 17 steps before you shoot that last free throw. 17 steps. There's 17 steps from the bench to the free throw line. I'm like, oh, so it's all the mental prep before you get to that point. So what are the strategies that you use? And so that year we really started to work on preparing for the section final mentally, and how do you handle adversity and all those things. And same person said, I can tell how tough a team is in the first 3 minutes on how they respond when things don't go well. It's a bad call.
Right.
How do they respond? And like, wow, I suck at I was whiny. Like, okay, so start modeling toughness as an example. So yeah, I think it's definitely all part of it.
Yeah, we actually hired a sports psychologist, Hans Skolstad. He works with a lot of pro hockey and stuff like that, and he would teach our kids about the optimal performance zone, OPZ, and how to get into it, and some different techniques, and more from a psychological perspective, because it's such a, we know what toughness is, kind of like we have a sense for what we think it is, but there's different ways to look at it, and it's performing your best, and like you said, letting bad things go in the past and not let it affect your next play and things like that. And I thought that training that he gave our guys, one of my guys is using it still. He's at St. John's now, Jubilate. He's a great player. And just some weird things, but like we had these mouse traps. I'm not lying. And it's like if you used both of your hands at the same time, there's this theory in psychology that if you let the emotional part of your brain take over when you're playing, to me that'd be mental weakness. If the emotional part of your brain just takes over, and you're not able to play clearly, you get tight, you get tense, you so-called choke. And that guy taught our guys to keep that pathway open, so to speak, between your thinking part of your brain and your feeling part of your brain, so that you can perform. I know Bender's loving this stuff.
I'm getting a psych lesson today.
I taught psychology for a long time.
It's psych lesson.
But I thought it was really cool stuff, and if you look at it all over now, you guys know McDermott, right, who plays in the NBA now? He had his psychologist before every game, and a lot of the stuff he was doing was the exact same stuff that we were trying to teach our kids to do. Now, we couldn't afford this guy more than like 6 times a year, so I don't know. You'd have to probably go to him a lot to really use it effectively, but I do think that, just get tougher, that's not going to work, and you can bench guys, that's true, but teaching them things they can do, like you said, the 17 steps, what do you do to clear your mind? What are you supposed to think about when you see the pressure free throw or not think about, and just like golf swing, right? Just clear your mind, or let your mind, just settle. Different things like that, I think, result in kids making good decisions under pressure, which I think would be mental toughness.
See how much better you'd be at golf.
Just throw your club?
No, I've just seen him. He's not very good.
Steve, how about toughness? I want to get your perspective on this. Can you teach it? Can you not teach it?
Yeah, you teach it. As soon as you said toughness, you think of, and they already touched on, just echo what they said. I thought of mental toughness right away, not just being a physical tough player, but mentally I think obviously is more important. And John said it too, about doing things right all the time, and especially when things aren't going well. That's when your true character comes out, and how tough you are. You're going to get through this tough spot. You're struggling, and that's the mental toughness, is doing things right all the time.